Okay, this might be one of my favorite DIYs I've ever done. I've picked up these shoes from the Dollar Tree, and I wasn't sure. I thought they might be kind of plasticky and not very comfortable, but they're actually really comfortable. And today I'm going to show you how to use the silicone makeup brush with your gluing. It's awesome. Now, first of all, you get these shoes, and then I picked up these cute little beads. They were on an end cap in the Dollar Tree. I don't think I've ever seen them before, but they came with their own super glue. And so I just wanted to kind of jazz up these shoes that turned out to be really comfortable. I actually love them so much. I wish I would have got a pair in every color, but I haven't seen them again. But I'm just going to jazz them up with a few beads. So now these are self-adhesive beads, but the problem is those are not going to stay, if I'm going to be wearing them for shoes, they're going to come off very easily. So you will need that super glue. But I'm going to go ahead and put them on my shoes just to see if I like how it looks and to get the size all in the right place. Now, whenever you're working with super glue, it is a little bit tricky because you don't want it to ooze out all over everything. So I'm putting a piece of plastic underneath it to catch any excess super glue. Now, I tried it with cement glue and other types of super glue, but it really kind of showed up. The glue was showing up, and hot glue just wouldn't be strong enough, and it would show up. So definitely this super glue is the answer for this particular do-it-yourself project. But whenever you're working with super glue, you have to be careful not to glue your fingers to the because it is that really strong super glue. Okay, now that I got my super glue ready, I'm going to peel back the little stickers and put a generous amount of super glue all along. Now it'll kind of ooze into the lines of the shoes, and it'll kind of ooze everywhere. And so you definitely want to have some sort of catch to catch the glue underneath, and plastic works really nicely. Okay, so as you're going along, be really generous. Like I said, you want to be generous with this glue because you want these to be able to, you're going to kick around in them and cross your legs and who knows what. You don't want those beads falling off. So now that I've got the hang of things, I'm just going to go ahead and go directly with some super glue and then put the cute little beads and line my shoes. And as I'm doing this, I'm thinking, this is really turning out cute. I might add just a little bit more because that was the one thing that I felt like I was wearing kind of just boring shoes, even though they're so comfortable. I thought these would be kind of like gardening shoes that I could just wash off easily and only wear if I was out weeding the garden or whatever. But actually they turned out to be so comfortable that they are definitely my kick around shoes that I will be wearing for much more than just a quick watering of the flowers. That is for sure. They come in quite a few different colors. I picked gray just so I do wear a lot of gray, but I haven't seen them again, but as soon as they pop up again, I'm going to grab me some more of these things because I wouldn't mind having a couple of pairs to go with different outfits. Okay, so then, as you can see, I'm getting my beads all along there. Now, I found these cute little foam flowers, and I thought, those would actually work pretty nicely on these type of shoes too. So I added some glue there, and the problem with just adding super glue to these foam flowers is it takes quite a while to dry. So it's not a bad idea to add a little hot glue first and then super glue. That's kind of my trick of the trade if you can get some hot glue. And then I have these beads, and I'll show you what kind of beads they are. But they're the ones that don't have any holes in them. Pick these. All of this is from the Dollar Tree. So I'm going to put a little bit of hot glue on there. But I noticed as soon as I put my hot glue on, I could see the glue, and I didn't want to see the glue because these shoes. So that's where this wonderful silicone makeup paddle works. It is the best. I don't know why I haven't been using this all along. It is my favorite tool now to use because you can completely get exactly where you want to be and get that glue out, the hot glue out of where you want, and then you just rub it right off of the silicone you can use it over and over again. I've always used little wooden sticks, but then you can't get as precise in to your little areas as you can with this wonderful silicone paddle. So that's my tip of the day. Get yourself one of those silicone paddles. If you do a lot of hot gluing, and it'll keep you from burning your fingers, and you can be a lot more precise with your glue. Okay, now we're going to go back to our super gluing the other shoe, adding the beads. And as you can see, this is literally a craft you can do in 10 minutes flat. I love it. It will jazz up your wonderful Dollar Tree shoes to look a little more fancy, and it is so easy and so fast. The only hard part really in this whole entire do-it-yourself project is keeping yourself from getting super glue on your fingers. If you do, that's when you need to have fingernail polish remover, because you don't want to take the skin off of your fingers, which I've done with super glue before in the past. So that is the one thing you do need to do with this very liquidy super glue. But the beauty of this kind of glue is that it is so strong. Okay, so after you get your beads put on, you have to realize that they're being attached and they still have that sticker underneath them. So they aren't as strong on the shoe as you might like, because the sticker is a barrier between the bead and the shoe. So what I recommend is after you've let these dry, and you need to let them dry, 6 hours or so. After they're completely dry, then I would go back with the super glue and run along the entire length of the beads with another layer of super glue, because these shoes need to be reinforced. Otherwise the beads will pop off. I made a pair and they were kind of popping off a little bit. But once you reinforce it with the super glue, and the reason why you can't do it right now is it's just so liquidy, it'll just keep on trying to ooze around. So wait for them to dry so that that part is really solid, and then put another coat of glue over the top. Now you can take your paper towel and kind of wipe off some of the excess glue as it starts to drip, but it's not a big deal. I mean, it doesn't look bad. It's just that anywhere the super glue goes, it will then become pretty hard, and you want these shoes to be bendable. So that's why you just wipe off any excess that you have, and then once again add a little hot glue and super glue to your foam flower and put a couple of beads on it, and that is all there is to it. Especially if you have your handy little silicone paddle to make sure that your hot glue gets exactly precisely where you want it, and you can wipe off any excess, and then they look so much better. This is my favorite new thing. All my crafts are going to look so much more professional by just having this cute little paddle, which I picked up from the Dollar Tree. So, and with that, you don't even need to use the fingertips, and which I will probably still need to use for my gnomes, but otherwise that is all there is to it. Isn't that the best? And you could do any color, you could do any style. Just there's so many different types of gems and beads that you can get from the Dollar Tree, so why not use them and make something that you will love? That's what I always say. Keep on going until you find out that it is exactly how you want, and just try to get all that excess glue. And again, once it starts to dry, then you don't really see that glue anymore, and there is the final product. Now these are the beads that I use. They're the faux pearl beads. There's two different sizes, 40 count and 60 count. But ultimately, once I put that extra layer of glue over the top of these, they were perfect.